So, today, we're going to dive into the really incredible journey of a student group called Spotlight. Seriously, they started with pretty much nothing and became this digital force to be reckoned with. And their story? Well, it reveals a secret weapon that's actually way more simple and powerful than you'd think. Okay, picture this. You start with just one camera and a whole lot of ambition, and you end up here, over 75,000 views. So the big question is, how on earth did they bridge that gap? That's exactly what we're about to break down. You know, every great story has a beginning, and for Spotlight, this was it. They were just a bunch of students who, and I love this, said they had absolutely no idea what they were doing. There was no big business plan, no fancy strategy, just this raw desire to create something cool. So their first move was to jump onto Instagram. And like any good adventure, this is where they hit their first real test. I mean, it's one thing to have a dream, right? But it's a totally different ballgame to put that dream out there for the whole world to see and, to judge. And come on, we can all relate to this, can't we? That jittery, nervous energy of putting your work out there, and then you just refresh, and you check it again. It's such a universal feeling. And that's exactly where their story really gets going. But then, something just clicked. They posted a really simple video, one of their members winning a singing prize at some local campus event. It was real, it was unpolished, and it totally connected. And that was their first huge breakthrough. It was a real aha moment. They realized that people weren't connecting with some flawless production. They were connecting with real stories about real people. Authenticity beats perfection basically became their new motto. This realization just changed the whole game for them. They stopped stressing about having to post something every single day. Instead, they just focused on making sure that when they did post, it was something people would genuinely care about. This wasn't just some nice little content tip. For them, it was literally a survival strategy. Okay, so armed with this new philosophy, their next stop was LinkedIn. A completely different world, right? They called it the professional playground, and it brought up a whole new question. Could their raw, authentic style actually work in such a, corporate environment? And at first, growth was slow. They went from 117 followers to 160. I mean, it's progress, sure, but it wasn't exactly setting the world on fire. It really felt like they were just quietly trying to find their footing. But then something totally unexpected happened. And here it is, the plot twist. In just one 7-day period, their account grew by almost 140%. It was this massive, sudden surge that proved their whole approach wasn't just working, it was resonating, deeply. And the data really tells the story here. We're talking over 16,000 impressions and almost 1,000 reactions. People weren't just scrolling past their content, they were actually stopping and engaging with it. This little student group had somehow figured out how to stand out from the noise. So what was the big lesson here? Well, they made it work by telling stories of student achievements and interviewing industry experts, all in their own authentic voice. They proved that professional does not have to be boring. You can be both professional and have a ton of personality. So, the final piece of their digital puzzle was YouTube. And here, their goal kinda shifted again. It wasn't just about getting views or likes anymore, it was about building something that would actually last, a real, genuine community. And to build that community, they created a seriously impressive library of content. We're talking 6 podcasts, over 10 interviews, in total, more than 50 different pieces of content. They were truly committed to giving their audience real, substantial value. And guess what? People responded. They racked up 40 hours of total watch time. Now just think about that for a second. That's not 40 hours of people passively scrolling by. That's 40 hours of people actively choosing to listen to what Spotlight had to say. That's huge. Which brings us to this number, 533. Now, I know that might not sound like a million, but here's why it's so important. This is their core monthly audience. These aren't just empty vanity metrics. These are 533 real people who have formed a community around Spotlight's content. So when you put all these pieces together, from Instagram to LinkedIn to YouTube, one single powerful theme just keeps popping up. They call it the sincerity effect, and it's really the ultimate takeaway from their entire journey. So here's how it all breaks down into a simple 3-step strategy. First, tell real stories. That's the big lesson from Instagram. Second, you've got to redefine what professional even means. Don't be boring. That's what they learned on LinkedIn. And finally, you bring it all together and make sincerity your actual core strategy, not just some tactic you try once. It really all comes down to this. In a world of filters and algorithms and super polished productions, the most powerful tool you have, the one thing that truly cuts through all that noise, is just being genuine. Spotlight's journey just goes to show you don't need a huge budget or a perfect plan to make a real impact. All you need is a story and the courage to tell it sincerely. So the final question isn't really about them, it's about you. What story will you start telling?